It was a Saturday morning, 8:30 lecture at the University of Minnesota. That's where I met Tia. At the time, she did not have a voice because she was at some concert.
No, I was sick.
So anyway, a friend of ours introduced us. Here's somebody who's still with no voice, was still very full of energy and animation and just glowed.
And we ended up sitting next to each other at the lecture, and it turns out that the lecture was on the evolution of the paperclip design.
There's all these different exploration of how fancy the paperclip became, but at the end of the day, it was the initial iconic paperclip. You couldn't even improve on it.
This talk said that essentially the simple things in life that matter the most, and that is in some ways the essence of our connection, is that we really celebrate and enjoy the simple things in life and find beauty in it.
My name is Souliyahn Keobounpheng, and I design houses.
My name is Tia and Souliyahn Keobounpheng, and I design jewelry. Pure and simple, Silvercocoon is our life's work. It includes whatever we do together or individually.
Whether that includes architecture,
Small residential design projects,
designing, building public arts,
making jewelry.
making furniture, or creating art walls. I've always used the funny phrase that I want to get paid for brushing my teeth. Essentially, that stems from you're doing it anyway. Then that can be your life's work. We're both creative individuals. We can't stand still when it comes to being curious, being inventive.
I think our design aesthetic is modern, fresh, practical, and a little bit fun.
We have the same tendencies when it comes to taste.
There is a simplicity to the things that we do. Like, it's actually really hard to do simple things. It's way easier to make it complicated.
Correct.
Souliyahn has an amazing perspective on life. I think it stems from being 8 years old when he traveled from Laos and Thailand to Minnesota in February with snow in winter. I mean, he literally got on a spaceship and landed in another planet. He is steady, and he's thorough and meticulous, and yet always open to playing.
Tia is highly excitable. She's very personable. But then also at the same time, she has an incredible eye for design. Whether it's color or things that are made, scale, proportion, it's kind of innate. Or for me, it's a little bit different. It takes me a long time to learn. And when I see her, it seems like it's just natural to her.
I believe in using your best dishes every day, and I'm also a fan of comfortable shoes. And so that kind of embodies the jewelry in that we deserve to be celebrated every day like it's a special occasion, but it should also be easy to wear and comfortable and make you feel good. One of the first designs that I tested out when I had access to a laser cutter was an idea of a topo bracelet. In architecture, we do a lot of topographic models where you get this undulation of landscape, essentially. So the other thing is that I've always struggled with the fact that I can't get my hands into bracelets. And so I had this idea that the shape could respond a little bit more to the shape of your hands.
We are in the back alley of my home and studio here in North Minneapolis. Everything gets done here. Tia and I, we design in our basement. Our two boys, we have two boys, and they're part of our work. And you know, the yard work, the design work. It's just one big happy mess here. I've done some work with the West Broadway Coalition to revitalize the business corridor in North Minneapolis. The current project is a bench/planter concept that's going to be installed on the sidewalk. I use some of these small projects to mentor future designers, you know, and also the opportunity to test our ideas and execute them as well. So Hannah here has been putting the mock-up together for about a week. Ready? So essentially, she's my supervisor at this point. So it's a great mentorship program in that you get to tell your boss what to do at the end of the day.
Yep, so just make sure it lines up. It might take 2 passes.
The end goal is we learn from this project. Design is always a learning process, and innovation, it's part of making mistakes, and then you innovate, you learn from it, and you move on, you improve. We're gonna do something with these later. Pretty.
So what do you think?
I think the color scheme really breaks down the volume nicely.
Yeah, that's what we were going for. Oh, I love it.
When we meet with clients and we do those projects, we have a really good product.
We're better together than we are individually when it comes to these residential projects. Hey! Hi! I'm really involved on the schematic design and planning, and then all of the real nuts and bolts stuff of like collecting existing condition measurements, taking the concept and truly developing it into construction documents. That's all him.
Tia has the fun part.
I do the fun stuff and he does all of the hard work.
So Scott, Laurie, this is the most current version that for the deck scheme here for the backyard. So you can kind of see the scale and proportion and how it relates to the existing house here. So the idea is to really make this patio part of the living room. The deck fronts the house, and then it cantilevers out all the way into the woods.
When you're out there, you'll hear the creek and the wind through the leaves. And I mean, like, that's a pretty awesome spot.
Architecture is, in a sense, it you know, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with their life. Oftentimes with couples, you're dealing with their dynamic, and it takes time to get to that point where the trust is there. The pergola here essentially acts as a gateway and also the sunscreen for the large gathering that occurs here. So there's an expression about it that is almost sublime in some ways. And the screen porch is...
We like sublime.
It's kind of interesting that we work together in the same space, and you know, we see each other every day. Our family is here, the noise is here. It gets very difficult at times, but somehow works. Our life is very fluid. Our work and our life is all intertwined. In my mind, your life is made up of days, and those days need to be happy. And so this is what we do. This is what we would choose to do to be happy and have a good life. We do what we need to do when the time comes and still function normally. I guess this is normal to us. You know, I'm not sure if it's normal to anybody else, but yeah.